A backpack full of glass and 7 years of silence. Nobody knew it yet, but inside that backpack was something that would stop Steve Harvey mid-sentence and remind 300 people what love actually looks like when you're 9 years old and running out of time. Thursday afternoon at the Family Feud studios in Atlanta, Steve Harvey walked in with his signature energy, ready for another day of making families laugh. He'd been hosting long enough that very little surprised him anymore, but he hadn't met Lucas Martinez yet. He hadn't seen what was in that backpack. The Martinez family from Phoenix arrived at 2 p.m. Father Roberto, Mother Maria, 14-year-old daughter Isabella, and 9-year-old Lucas. The production notes said typical family, nothing particularly remarkable. Except for one detail the producers noticed but didn't mention: Lucas refused to take off his backpack. During family introductions, Steve made his way down the line with his usual warmth. When he got to Lucas, he immediately noticed something unusual. The boy stood perfectly still, one hand gripping the backpack strap, the other pressed against his side like he was protecting something precious. "And who's this young man?" Steve asked, kneeling to Lucas's level. "I'm Lucas. I'm 9 years old." Steve gestured to the backpack. "You planning on going somewhere after the show, little man? Maybe camping?" Lucas shook his head, completely serious. "I just need to keep this with me." "What's in there that's so important?" Lucas hesitated. "Something I've been saving." Steve laughed, thinking it was kid nervousness. "Well, all right then, you keep that close." He moved on, but something about Lucas's intensity stuck with him. The way the kid held that backpack wasn't nervous fidgeting, it was protection. The game began with the Martinez family facing the Chen family from San Diego. The energy was exactly what you'd expect: competitive, loud. Isabella was enthusiastic, celebrating every point. Maria was laughing, fully engaged. Roberto stood at the end, smiling but noticeably thin, wearing a baseball cap he never removed. But Lucas hung back, barely participating. He smiled at the right moments. He clapped when his family scored. But his hand never left that backpack strap, and his eyes had a quality Steve recognized: the look of someone carrying something too heavy. By the fourth round, the Martinez family was ahead. They were playing well, working together. The question came up: name something people make wishes on. Isabella hit the buzzer: birthday candles. Number one answer. The family erupted in celebration, high-fiving and hugging. Everyone except Lucas. Lucas wasn't celebrating. He was crying, not happy tears. His hand gripped that backpack strap until his knuckles were white, tears streaming down his face while his family jumped around him. Steve Harvey stopped. Something about those tears cut through the noise. He'd seen overwhelmed kids before, but this was different. This was grief. "Hold on," Steve said, his voice cutting through celebration. "Hold on just a minute." The music stopped. The audience fell silent. Steve walked over and knelt in front of Lucas. "Oh, Lucas, buddy, what's going on? We're winning. This is good, right?" Lucas wiped his eyes quickly. "I'm okay. I'm just happy." But Steve Harvey had been reading people for 30 years. "Sweetheart, those aren't happy tears. Can you tell me what's wrong?" Lucas looked at his father. Roberto nodded, his own eyes filling with tears. "Can I show you what's in my backpack?" Lucas whispered. "Of course, son." The studio was completely quiet now. 300 people watching a 9-year-old boy slowly unzip a backpack. Lucas reached inside carefully. When his hand emerged, he was holding a large glass jar filled with birthday candles. Dozens of them, maybe more than 100, all different colors, all unlit, all waiting. Steve looked at the jar, confused. "What's this, buddy?" Lucas's voice was barely audible. "My unused wishes." "Your unused wishes?" "I'm 9 years old. That means I've had 9 birthdays, 9 cakes with candles, 9 chances to make wishes." He held up the jar. "But I didn't. I saved them instead." Steve felt something shift in the studio. This wasn't a game show anymore. "Why did you save them, Lucas?" Lucas set the jar down and pulled out a small spiral notebook from his backpack. He opened it with trembling hands. Inside were lists in careful child's handwriting. Each entry dated: birthday number 3, January 15th, saved wish for dad. Birthday number 4, January 15th, saved wish for dad. Birthday number 5, January 15th, Saved wish for Dad. Year after year, all the way through birthday number 9, Steve read in silence. Why are you saving wishes for your dad, son? Lucas looked at Roberto. My dad has brain cancer. He got diagnosed when I was 2. I don't really remember him without it. The audience gasped. Every birthday, my family sings and brings out cake with candles. Everyone expects me to make a wish and blow them out, but I don't. Steve listened with complete focus. I don't blow them out because I'm saving them. I've been saving every single birthday wish since I was 3. 7 years of wishes. 97 candles in this jar. He picked up the jar like it was the most valuable thing in the world. Because I thought if I saved up enough wishes, if I saved them all, then when it really mattered, God would have to listen. The silence was absolute. My dad's doctors told him last month that he probably has 6 months left, maybe less. Steve felt like the air had been knocked out of his lungs. My 10th birthday is in 3 weeks. That'll be wish number 98. And I'm going to light all 98 candles at once. I'm going to use every wish I saved to ask God to let my dad stay. Lucas looked up with eyes holding too much understanding. But I'm scared. What if 98 wishes isn't enough? Steve stood slowly, walked to center stage. His hands were shaking. In thousands of hours of television, he had never felt anything like this. He addressed the camera. This 9-year-old boy has been saving birthday wishes for 7 years. While other kids wished for toys, he saved every single wish for his father. Steve walked back and sat on the stage floor, right there in his suit, cross-legged on the Family Feud stage. Lucas, come here, son. Lucas sat across from him with his jar. Does your mama know about the wishes? Lucas shook his head. She thinks I'm just shy about candles. She doesn't know I've been counting them. From the backpack, Lucas pulled another paper covered in math, child's handwriting attempting calculations. 98, wishes X, maximum wish power equals sign. How many wishes equals sign 1 saved life? Steve read it, and his heart shattered. This boy had been trying to use mathematics to calculate whether his saved wishes would be enough to save his father. I've been trying to figure out the formula, if 98 wishes is mathematically enough. But I can't figure it out. He looked at Steve desperately. Is it enough? Do you think 98 wishes is enough to save my dad? Steve reached into his jacket and pulled out his pocket square, gently wiped Lucas's tears. Lucas, can I tell you something about wishes? Okay. Wishes don't work like money you save in a bank. They're not math you calculate with numbers. Lucas looked devastated. So I wasted them? No, baby, no. You didn't waste anything. You know what you did? Lucas shook his head. You showed your daddy how much you love him. For 7 years, every birthday you chose to save that wish for him. Steve's voice was thick with emotion. That is the wish, son. The love is the wish. Every birthday you saved a candle, you were wishing for your daddy. Lucas thought about this, but the doctors still said 6 months. I know, but you know what doctors don't always know? They don't always know about the power of a 9-year-old boy who loves his father so much, he saves birthday wishes for 7 years. Steve looked at Roberto. Roberto, come here. Roberto walked onto center stage, visibly ill, thin, the cap covering hair loss from chemo. But standing here, Steve took Lucas's hand and placed it in his father's hand. Roberto, your son has been saving birthday wishes for you since he was 3. 97 wishes in that jar, planning to use all 98 on his 10th birthday. Roberto looked down and completely broke. He knelt and pulled Lucas into his arms. But I'm going to tell you both something, Steve said. Those wishes, they already worked. Both looked at him confused. The doctors said 6 months, last month, but 7 years ago when Lucas was 2, they probably said months then too, maybe a year. But you got 7 more years, 7 years of watching Lucas grow, 7 years you weren't supposed to have. Steve's voice grew stronger. You got them because this child loved you enough to save every wish. Those wishes weren't waiting in that jar. They were working every single day. Roberto held Lucas tighter, understanding. Every birthday Lucas didn't blow out candles. That was him telling the universe, my dad is worth waiting for. Steve stood and removed his suit jacket. He wrapped it around Lucas's shoulders. You've been carrying your daddy's life in this backpack for 7 years. That's too much for anybody. He wiped Lucas's tears again. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to fight, not because I know you'll win, but because your daddy has been fighting for 7 years, and you're his son, and fighting is what your family does. Steve pulled out his phone right there on stage, put it on speaker. Dr. Michael Chen, Duke University Medical Center. Dr. Chen, this is Steve Harvey. I have a father with stage 4 glioblastoma. Given 6 months last month, been fighting 7 years. Is there anything? A pause. What's the patient's name? Roberto Martinez. After medical details were shared, Dr. Chen said, there's a new immunotherapy trial showing promising results for this exact tumor type. About 60% of participants live significantly beyond their prognosis. Steve asked, what does it cost? The trial is free, but supporting care, travel, housing during treatment runs about $200,000. Steve didn't hesitate. My foundation covers all of it. Get Roberto Martinez into that trial. The studio erupted. Steve raised his hand for quiet. Dr. Chen, this boy has been saving birthday wishes for 7 years. Is that scientifically significant? A smile in Dr. Chen's voice. Research shows patients with strong family support, knowing their children need them, often exceed their prognosis. This father has a son who needs him. That matters. Steve looked at Lucas. You hear that? Your wishes were working all along. Before the family could leave, Steve turned to production. Bring out a birthday cake, right now, with 98 candles. Within 10 minutes, a massive sheet cake arrived covered with 98 candles. Lucas, I know your birthday isn't for 3 weeks, but I think we should use those wishes today. Lucas looked scared. All of them? You've saved them for 7 years. You've waited long enough. Steve had the entire audience stand. 300 people rose. When Lucas blows out these candles, we're all going to wish together. 300 people, 98 wishes, times 300 people. That's 29,400 wishes going up at the same moment. Lucas stared at 98 burning candles, flames dancing across his face. What if it's still not enough? He whispered. Roberto knelt beside him. Mijo, you've already given me the greatest gift, 7 years of knowing my son loved me enough to save wishes. If I only get 6 more months, I gotta be your father for 9 years. If that's all I get, that's enough. Lucas looked at his father, at the candles, at Steve, at 300 waiting strangers. You don't have to use them all if you're scared, Steve said. But Lucas shook his head. No, I saved them because I was waiting for the right moment. This is it. He looked at the audience. Will you really all wish with me? 300 voices. Yes. I'm ready. Steve counted down. 3, 2, 1. Lucas took the deepest breath, with his father's hands on his shoulders. With Steve beside him, with 300 strangers all wishing together, Lucas blew. He blew with 7 years of hope. He blew with 97 saved wishes, and 1 new one. And somehow, impossibly, he extinguished all 98 candles. The studio erupted, 300 people cheering and crying, not because someone won a game show, because they witnessed what love looks like when you're 9 and your father is dying and you save every wish because you believe in miracles. Steve pulled Lucas and Roberto into a hug, while cameras captured something transcending television. When they pulled apart, Steve asked, how do you feel? Lucas thought, lighter. Like I've been carrying something really heavy and I finally got to put it down. That's what love feels like when you share it. You don't have to carry it alone anymore. Steve knelt down. Lucas, can I keep that jar? Lucas hesitated. But that's my proof. I know, that's why I want it. Because when your daddy beats this, when he's at your graduation and wedding, we'll look at that jar and remember the boy who loved his father so much. He saved 98 wishes. Lucas handed over the jar carefully. And if he doesn't beat it? Steve didn't lie. Then we'll still look at this jar, and we'll remember that for 7 years you wished for your daddy every day. That's not losing. That's loving so hard that even death can't erase it. The episode aired 3 months later. By then, Roberto had begun immunotherapy at Duke. The first round showed promise. The tumor hadn't grown. Some areas appeared to be shrinking. It wasn't a miracle cure, but it was hope. Real, tangible, medically documented hope. Today, 2 years later, Roberto Martinez is still alive. The tumor has shrunk by 76%. He's stable, He takes his son to Little League games. He helps with homework. He's there for all the ordinary moments that aren't guaranteed. Lucas is now 11. He blows out his birthday candles now. He makes regular wishes for his baseball team, for good grades, normal wishes. Because he learns something important. Wishes don't save people by being stored in jars. Wishes save people by being lived every single day, in the act of loving someone enough to hope for their tomorrow. The jar of 98 candles sits on Roberto's bedside table. He looks at it every morning, a reminder that his son loved him enough to wait 7 years. Steve Harvey keeps a single birthday candle in his desk drawer. Sometimes when he's having a difficult day, he opens the drawer and looks at that candle, and he remembers a 9-year-old boy who taught him that love isn't just a feeling, it's a choice you make every day. The jacket Lucas wore that day, Roberto wears it to every treatment appointment. He says it reminds him what he's fighting for. It smells like his son now, mixed with Steve's cologne. It smells like hope. Because that's what happens when a 9-year-old boy saves wishes for 7 years. The wishes become real. Not because God waves a magic wand, but because love, real love, the kind that saves birthday wishes, that kind of love changes what's possible. Roberto might live 5 more years. He might live 20, or the cancer might come back. The 6 months might still come. But here's what will definitely happen. Lucas will never doubt he did everything he could. He saved 98 wishes. He loved his father with everything he had. And Roberto will die whenever that time comes, knowing his son loved him enough to save every birthday wish from age 3 to 9, that his son believed in him enough to count the candles to carry hope in his backpack to a game show. That's worth more than extra months or years. That's the kind of love that makes every moment together feel like a miracle. Steve Harvey learned something from Lucas that day. His job isn't just to host a game show. His job is to pay attention when a 9-year-old boy teaches adults what courage looks like. It looks like saving wishes when you could spend them. It looks like carrying hope in a backpack. It looks like doing the math even when numbers don't make sense. It looks like blowing out 98 candles while 300 strangers wish with you. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, if you save enough wishes and love hard enough, you get more time. Not forever. Nobody gets forever. But more mornings, more Little League games, more homework help, more ordinary moments that feel extraordinary when you know how close you came to losing them. That's what 98 birthday wishes bought the Martinez family. More time. And in the end, isn't that what every wish is really for?